Long shadows from the expiring day added fear to the panicked villagers. They should have been in the mountains by now. Urgency hastened their packing, and fussy children worked everyone's last nerve. An old beggar entered the chaotic village, but his request for food and water fell on deaf ears. The village elder helped the beggar and fed him. The beggar asked why the villagers were packing. The elder explained how the night's new moon would bring a monster from the sea that would attack the village and devour any it could grab. The beggar thanked the elder for her hospitality and vowed to rid the village of their monster. The elder tried convincing the beggar to flee with them to the mountains, but the beggar stayed behind and prepared for the monster. The night brought the new moon and the monster from the sea. It scurried into the abandoned village, but a dwelling adorned in red paper caused the monster to rear back. The beggar erupted from the dwelling, dressed in red, and made as much noise as he could. The monster thrashed from the commotion. The beggar lit fireworks. Their explosion startled the creature, and it scrambled into the night. The beggar saved the village from the monster, but not the demon. That was how Chinese New Year started, and this is Legends from the Pacific. Aloha, and thank you very much for joining us. This is Legends from the Pacific, Episode 3, Chinese New Year. I am Kamawala Kaneshiro. Later on this episode is your featured Hawaiian word, song, and more about the opening story's demon, but first, Chinese New Year. While there are many spoken Chinese dialects, I was taught that Happy New Year in Chinese is Gong Hee Fa Choi. Chinese New Year, or the Spring Festival, usually occurs in January or February and marks the beginning of the lunar calendar. The new moon signals the start of a 15-day celebration that ends on the full moon, which is the Lantern Festival. Records have stated that many Chinese New Year traditions started during China's Han Dynasty, which lasted from 206 BCE until 220 CE. China has a rich assortment of gods and monsters, including the Jade Emperor. The Jade Emperor is seen in other Asian cultures, but for this episode, we'll be focusing on his connection with China. The Jade Emperor is a heavenly being who maintains order, rewards or punishes individuals' actions, but was not involved in the creation of China. While it seems like the Jade Emperor is all-powerful, the story behind the Lantern Festival, which ends Chinese New Year, shows the Jade Emperor can be tricked. One day a heavenly bird materialized on our realm. Hunters didn't know the bird was from the heavenly plane and killed the animal. This infuriated the Jade Emperor, and he ordered the other gods to set fire to our realm. The gods didn't agree with the emperor and told the villagers of his plan. The villagers tricked the emperor by filling their towns with red lanterns, so when the emperor looked down upon our realm, it looked like our towns were on fire. A lesser-known Lantern Festival story involved a ruler forbidding a palace maiden from seeing her parents. A palace scholar helped the maiden by convincing their ruler that a fire god was sent to destroy them, but they could appease the deity by adorning the kingdom with red lanterns. While the red lanterns were set up, the maiden snuck away to see her parents. The Chinese year is distinguished by three things. Each year is either yin or yang, an element, and an animal. For example, 2020 is known as the year of the yang metal rat. Things can get a little confusing, so I posted info about this on our website to help you. Terry Pratchett's comedy series Discworld pokes fun at this by naming Discworld centuries things like the century of the anchovy or the century of the fruit bat. Discworld fans applied this to our world and dubbed 2020 the year of the condescending carp. As for what determined the Chinese year's animals, we refer to our friend the Jade Emperor. See, the Jade Emperor had a race, and the first 12 animals to finish would be honored with a year. The rat was clever, but worried he'd lose to his friend, the cat. So he tricked the cat into thinking the race was the next day, and the cat took a nap while the rat started the race. The rat encountered an ox and convinced the ox to give him a ride. The ox agreed and was motivated by the rat. When the two animals neared the finish line, The rat jumped from the ox, crossed the finish line, and became the first winner of the race. The ox took second, but the cat missed the race and didn't get a year. It's believed this is why cats and rats are enemies. Food is important for celebrating Chinese New Year, and it's bad luck to eat the animal whose year it is. Important things are dumplings or pot stickers, cabbage, fish, noodles, monk's food or jai, and the dessert gao. Sticky candies are left as offerings to the kitchen or stove god, like milk and cookies for Santa. See, the kitchen god is the god who interacts with us the most. Chinese New Year is when he reports our activities to the Jade Emperor, and sticky candy can influence the kitchen god by saying sweet things about us or sticking his teeth together so he can't talk bad about us. One of my favorite things during Chinese New Year is the lion dances. Acrobatic kung fu students usually do the performance, and the money goes to their schools. Interestingly enough, China does not have lions. Scholars believe the lion dance originated from India or Persia and made its way to China. Still to come, your featured Hawaiian word and song, but now, a story. The following is a Legends from the Pacific original story and is based on traditional tales. A wife smiled at her husband as she entered the cold room with a new candle. She lit it. Its steady flame illuminated their child's room. They wished the night was over as they watched their firstborn and waited for the demon. Cozy blankets cast their sleeping spell, but the parents forced themselves to stay awake for their child. Their fidgety son couldn't sleep. His father gave him several coins. His mother gave him red paper and told their child to busy himself by wrapping the coins, opening them, and repeating the process. The candle burned low. The parents' heads bobbed, and the sleep-intoxicated father saw the demon peeking from the window. The demon opened the window. The father tried to move, but it was like his body was paralyzed. The demon blew out the short candle. Darkness soothed the father's eyes, and he couldn't tell if they were open or closed. But there, in the dark, the demon flicked its tail and stretched its wings. It faced the father. Its glowing eyes and glistening teeth pierced the dark. The creature loomed over the child. The father tried screaming to wake his family, but silence remained. The demon chuckled as its knuckle tapped the child's head 3 times. "It's too late. I failed," rang through the father's head. Tears fell, and the father's trance was broken. He lunged at the demon. The demon laughed as it flew towards the window. The father reached for the creature. The demon's tail slid against the father's closing fingers. Coughing from the child froze his father. The demon's tail slipped through the father's fingers as the creature flew out the window. The father took his son into his arms. A fever burned his child. The father begged his son to fight the sickness and tried not to think about the permanent mental damage his son faced if he survived. The father cried and rocked back and forth. A hand grabbed the father's shoulder and woke the sleeping parent. It was his wife. She greeted him. The father looked around the lit room. The candle was almost out, but their son was safe. His wife said he was having a nightmare. She suggested he go to sleep. He had a long day and had to work in the morning. The father refused and went to wash his face. The mother looked over her sleeping son. The coins and red paper laid beside his head. The dissolved candle flickered, and she left to get another. The demon opened the window. It blew out the candle and approached the sleeping child. The demon heard the mother returning and quickly made a fist over the child, but the fiend recoiled from the reflecting coins beside the child's head. The mother and father rushed into the room and saw the cowering demon fly out the window. Coming up is your featured Hawaiian word and song. Listeners, I would like your help to make this show the best it can be, so please send me your feedback at our website, legendsfromthepacific.com. Our closing story was how red envelopes with money became a Chinese New Year tradition. The denominations changed over time, and there's even e-red envelopes and apps, but people still prefer traditional paper envelopes. One last thing. It's good luck to wear red during Chinese New Year, especially if it's the year of your birth animal, because it's believed matching years will be very challenging. Your featured Hawaiian word is mahina, which means moon or month. Mahina has two meanings because the Hawaiians used the lunar calendar. Once again, mahina means moon or month. If you like what you heard, please give us a rating, write a review, and share Legends from the Pacific with your friends and family. I'd really appreciate it. Our theme song is Mystery by Tavana, courtesy of High Sessions. Sound effects were by Sound Effects Factory. Our music coordinator is Matt Duffy. Links and show notes can be found on our website, legendsfromthepacific.com, including a link to your featured song, which is the Hawaiian song E O Mai by Keali'i Raichel, courtesy of High Sessions. Legends from the Pacific was written, produced, and edited by me, Kamuala Kaneshiro. I also wrote our original stories. Thank you once again for listening. Mahalo and ahui ho.